What's going on, everyone? My name is Myles Farrington. I'm joined by my co-host today.
Adam Leonard.
And Harry the Larry.
There you go, Harry the Larry. You somehow made it funnier. Anyway, this is episode 168 of the MONG podcast. It's E3, baby. That's the title, and it's E3, baby. So, let's go ahead and jump into things. As per usual, we're not going to go over every weekly highlight this week just because most of it is E3 based. So I assume since you're watching this podcast, you've probably been watching E3 as well. It's really cool, isn't it? But we did have a review from Harry the Larry himself of Walking Dead: A New Frontier, episode 5. How many episodes are there, Harry?
5.
Oh, all right. There you go. It's the finale, folks. If you want to know the definitive opinion of Harry the Larry on that series or that season, whatever, go check it out. And if you would like to give your definitive finalities on seasons and other things like that for us, that'd be neat. And you can check out the recruitment tab, or not tab, link at the bottom of wherever you're watching or listening. It'll take you to a page where you can write down some stuff about yourself, and we can see if we can find a spot for you here on the MONG team. And we are welcoming to most, if not all, people. We don't like Nazis, though.
No.
No one likes Nazis. But beyond that, also, we do have a Discord. That's where you can go and hang out, talk, be merry, send in your thoughts from nowhere if you have them and you want us to read them when we're not on weeks like the last 2 weeks where we're not going to be reading them because there's other stuff going on. But we will get back to them. I swear to God. That's one of our best segments if you ask me. Gentlemen, let's make it concise and succinct. This week in our lives. Adam, go.
I've been playing Nier Automata.
Wait. Is this your first playthrough?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. So many of my friends have been playing it. I don't know who's played what now. Okay, how you liking it so far?
It's bizarre in a very good way. I've never I think I kind of dig the combination of kind of like isometric shooting and like melee combat. And the plot's really weird, and I don't know where it's going, but I kind of dig it.
Well, all right then. It's gonna go a lot of places, especially if you want to get all those endings, buddy. Harry, what's been going on in your life?
Nothing much. Just been keeping busy. Didn't really have time to play video games, but I have been playing Overwatch during its anniversary season. So that's been kind of fun, enjoying it. And have just been getting hyped for E3.
Sounds about right. Have you gotten any of the neat anniversary dances or skins?
I think I got 1 or 2 emotes, but no skins, which has been a very annoying since I've gotten maybe like a dozen loots, a dozen crates, and nothing.
Well, that's the luck of the draw, I guess.
Yeah, not fun.
Yeah. Everyone loves RNG. I have been playing through Destiny with a female friend, and that's been fun. Yeah. So it's been interesting playing through with someone who's like not played 1,000 hours of it. So that's a new experience I'm enjoying. And of course E3.
So we'll get to this later, but I gotta ask what I thought of you specifically, Miles. As a huge Destiny fan, how do you feel about BioWare after this week?
I hope to God Anthem is good because it looks like it'll be a lot of fun. I have come to the realization that the things I enjoy most in video games are customization and loot. And that game seems like it's going to have loot, and it seems like it's going to have customization, so I hope it's good.
Because yeah, they kind of like it looks incredible, and we'll get to it, I'm sure, at some point. But like, I couldn't help but also go like, this is kind of BioWare saying like, "Hey, Bungie, look, we can do Destiny too."
Yeah.
As well.
In some capacity, yeah.
As well.
Yeah, we don't want to get confused.
Yes, we don't want to get confused, but yeah, in some capacity. But I don't see that as a bad thing necessarily. It's like, okay, so when I'm hoping that it ends up being like a little. We'll talk about it in a minute because that's what my first story is.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the news from nowhere, which is actually the E3 from everywhere. Or something. I didn't actually come up with a special title for it. But anyway, we're going to play the regular sounds anyway.
The news from nowhere.
There you go. Let's get into it. So, of course, my first story, so pretty much how we're going to do this episode, since it is E3, each of us chose 2 games that really caught our eyes. And then...
Did we?
That's what I thought we were doing.
Okay, well, I can make that work.
Okay, yeah. So pick two games or things that happened that you really thought were cool. And then we're going to go game of the show, which is of course game of the show, which I guess can be kind of rolled into your two games, and most pleasant surprise. And this is actually a surprise because Harry did not ask me about it until like 10 minutes before. Biggest disappointment, which I'm fine with because I'm a negative guy. I can find something to be disappointed about. But yes, yeah, I'll go ahead and spoil it. My game of the show, even though I do need to see a lot more of it and know more about it, Anthem, because I really like Destiny. I found out earlier this week I have spent 11, not 11,000.
11 billion.
No, I've spent a very large time playing Destiny, and that game looks like it's gonna be something similar to Destiny. And as I said, I don't see that as a bad thing. I see that as, you know, that's neat. That's good. You know, especially if it comes out and it's actually a solid game, then I don't have a problem with that because it just means that, you know, hopefully if Destiny's having some downtime when it's, you know, not got any content or the content is getting a little stale, you know, I could be like, oh, I could jump over to Anthem, put on a freaking mech suit, and have rockets on my back. It also kind of reminds me of Armored Core, and that was the original Armored Cores are a lot of fun. What'd you guys think?
Like, I think it looks really cool. One of the things that I dug that like stuck out, a moment that stuck out to me, maybe I'll add to it, is I really liked the depth and verticality of the world they showed. Like I liked the one point they're like flying and flying and flying, and then she like jumps into like an ocean, and then all of a sudden she's going down and down and down.
Yeah.
And it just like kind of painted the picture of this really massive world. And I really hope that that's not just for show, that we do have this world with great heights and great depths to it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the heights and depths is really cool if there's no loading screen every 45 seconds.
Yeah.
So I think if it's a already filled world where I can just travel, enjoy what's happening, pick up some loot like Myles loves, and, you know, either figure out the story or figure out some raids or whatever the equivalent is, they could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And especially if this is going to be a Destiny-esque game, it's going to give Bungie a run for its money to make sure that Destiny 2 is top-notch.
Very true. Very true. Now, at the same time that I've given roses, I am going to give a couple concerns. One of the biggest concerns I saw was that it looks like, from what we saw, which of course is probably not all that indicative of the end product, at least in the capacity I'm talking about, it seemed like it was very corridor-esque, if you know what I mean. Like, pretty much the environment that they were running through was literally like a hallway. It was a glorified hallway. If you looked at the way the scenery was, it was like kind of up on the sides. It kind of once someone pointed out, I definitely understood how it made people feel like that was just like a glorified hallway. Like you can run down that hall and you can run back it, I guess, if you want to, but you're probably not going to be out and getting out on the sides and exploring the whole world. And I hope that that's not true, but that is a concern, and that's why, as I said, I want to see more and hear more about it before I, you know, get as hype as I was about Destiny. It's close. Destiny was like up here, and Anthem's like here. Just need more information. Need to see more loot and mech suits and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we want to gauge expectations. I don't want to get super hyped for anything anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And then get like slapped in the face with the No Man's Sky-itis situation. So it looks cool. I just want to wait to see real gameplay that is not hyped to the nth degree for E3, and then figure out whether there's actually depth to it other than just looking really pretty.
Yeah, most definitely.
So we'll see.
Yep. And I'm just going to also add in something. By the way, I'm going to speak for myself, and I think that you two as well. These are not the only things we found exciting about E3. Just to be absolutely clear, there was a lot of awesome stuff, but we have an hour because I have a job to be at in the morning. So that's why we're only doing 2 things per. But that said, I've been talking a lot. Adam.
Okay, so like first thing that really stuck out to me at E3, which I guess just putting my cards on the table because it's just how it's going to be, is also it's also my game of the show. It's a game coming out from the developer of Two Brothers. It's a game called A Way Out. A Way Out looks rad. It's like I'm not much of a co-op person, but this game is a game that I'm like extremely looking forward to losing an entire weekend playing with my roommates. And basically what it is a two-person game where you're two people in jail, and through like the plot, like through the narrative of the story, that you come to a reason that you have to break out of jail, and so you guys have to work together to break out of jail and escape and accomplish whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And it looks really, really cool because it looks like it's a game where each character has individual narratives. The story goes on even when they're not together, and people could have be experiencing different scripted narratives even at the same time while they're not together. And it also has like a lot of scenarios where you have to work together in seems like potentially fairly flexible environments to figure out how you're going to move forward. Like for instance, I was reading about like one scenario that some journalists got to play through, where you're both at a gas station, you're like rob a gas station, and you have to make a decision of who's going to be the gunman. And then there's like stuff you could do ahead of time, like you could try to convince. You could like have conversations with patrons at the gas station, and among the things you can do is try to get them to leave so you have less people witnessing the crime. Or there's other stuff like you can sabotage, like there's a phone you could sabotage so that the cops can't be reached. So it just kind of came out of nowhere. Like nobody really knew about this game until EA's conference. It just seems to have a lot of potential. It seems to be a really kind of fresh, original idea. And so I'm just really excited about it because it looks like it's going to be a game that's going to be a lot of fun to play. And it's going to encourage you to sit there on the couch and play with your friend, which, is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, they mentioned that you can also play it online co-op. Right. So, in case you don't have anyone local that you want to play with, you could still do it across the world or something. So.
Yeah. I really liked this game and another one. I don't remember what it was, but they were like kind of. It seemed like couch co-op was kind of getting some love this year. And I liked that it was getting love from AAA developers instead of, well, I guess. Would you consider A Way Out AAA or?
It kind of, if I were to guess, it kind of looks like it's a indie studio taking a step towards becoming AAA.
Okay, so yeah, that game and another one had they were kind of boasting couch co-op, and I love that because that's something I really enjoy. So I mean, A Way Out itself, I'm kind of lukewarm on it. I'm not super big on Prison Break things, but I know a lot of people are excited. It did look it's an interesting place to go, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. Any other words about it, Adam?
No. I'm excited to hopefully it lives up to its promise.
Yeah, and especially this sounds like the No Man's Sky-itis, that we want to make sure we gauge expectations and realize, like Adam said, it's an indie studio, not a AAA system. So if it is not going to be 400 hours, it's not going to be photorealistic, just like kind of what we already saw, then we want to make sure that we don't overhype it. Like, I'm expecting it to be an awesome game, but I want to make sure we don't think it's the next coming.
Yeah. All right. Wait, I see what your top thing is, Harry, and I like it. Go ahead.
So my top thing is Raving Rabbids. Mario plus Rabbids, Kingdom Battle. So when we first heard about this a couple months ago as part of the rumor mill, I was totally cautious. I didn't want to voice an opinion. I just kind of said, all right, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then we saw those, the stock photo about all the characters and the Rabbids with their costumes that were very Mario-esque characters, which was cute, and I thought it was a funny thing, and the Mega Man-esque gunplay. But when we saw the gameplay, and then when we saw the rough story trailer, this looks awesome. I'm very excited. I think the gameplay is much deeper than I was expecting. I think we were all expecting just basic RPG elements, 4v4, now we are seeing a lot of ground control. So it's kind of like Fire Emblem mixed with the whimsy of Rabbids and Mario. I didn't notice any mechanics with like rock beats paper beats scissor, whatever, like that kind of triangle effect. But it looked a lot more challenging and intricate than I was expecting. So I think when we were all saying that it's like a kiddie game, it looks like a kiddie game, but it kind of has the depth of a deep strategy game.
Yeah. That was my biggest surprise, honestly. I kind of tuned this out just because I'm not the biggest fan of Nintendo, as everyone knows, and combining that with Rabbids just had me absolutely not interested, because Rabbids are like the equivalent of Minions.
Minions?
Yeah, in my mind, and I hate Minions.
Yes, me too.
So I was not paying this any attention. However, when it came on screen, I was like, "Oh, this is a strategy game. Oh, this is like XCOM." That's actually kind of interesting, because like I suck at XCOM just like everybody else, but that game's fun. So I'm not gonna buy a Switch for this necessarily, but it looks really interesting. And if I ever get a Switch for, let's say, the Pokemon game that they're teasing now, I will be picking that up.
Right. And I think. Sorry, go.
No, you go ahead, Harry.
I was going to say, and plus, this is landing in at the end of the summer. It's a nice spot that it can just kind of rock for a couple weeks before anything else happens. It's like, I think 4 or 5 weeks after Splatoon. So in case you're getting fatigued with the multiplayer aspect of that or the single player aspect, you can go to the strategy aspect before we get to the Pokken, which is going to be the fighting aspect in September. So I think this, and pretty much what Nintendo's doing with their release dates with the big first party-ish games, is working out pretty nicely.
Yeah. It's a very interesting idea that I did not see coming, but I like it. It's awesome.
Definitely.
Can I talk?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I thought it was cool because it was neat that it kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, there were rumors, but I like the fact that it had already been in development for like 3 years, and here it comes in a couple of months. This gives me a chance to touch on a couple things because of the format of the show. I just won't really get to touch on otherwise. I thought Ubisoft had the conference of the show, in my opinion. I thought they had a strong conference with lots of good titles and lots of surprises. Plus, they got the coup of getting to announce one of those kind of holy grail type of scenarios when they brought out Good and Evil 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that was like the Rabbids thing was a really strong start, even though I love Miyamoto to death. That was a little cringy at moments.
Oh yeah, it was awkward. It was typical Nintendo awkwardness.
And simply because there's not really a room for Nintendo on my list, I do also want to give Nintendo a pat on the back because I haven't got a chance to watch their conference, but I've gotten the gist of it. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like with like the Wii, the Switch, they've acquitted themselves really nicely. There was a lot of questions about like where's the games, what are they going to do, but it sounds like really feels like it's coming together for them. So good job.
Yeah, they're making it happen, making it work, and that's good because we don't want a Wii U again.
No. I did see the trailer for the Mario Odyssey trailer. That looks pretty rad.
Take 2 minutes after this and check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I might, but I also don't care about Nintendo.
All right.
I want to go back and watch the highlights from that conference just so I know what's happening. Because, like I said, I saw they minorly teased a mainstream. Does anyone know? Was that a rumor? Or did they like minorly tease a mainstream Pokemon game that isn't?
Oh, they 100% stated it. Maybe 8 minutes into the thing, I forgot his position, but the person that did the Pokemon Direct last week said he did a recap of what happened last week, and then he blatantly said, "And we want to make one more announcement that we're working to make a core RPG Pokemon game for the Switch." So he just kind of blurted that out for 30 seconds, like, all right, back to other Nintendo stuff. So I was shocked when they did that.
So basically, I was right the other week. They basically had that original, that Pokemon Direct just to kind of screw with people so they could announce what everybody really wanted at like E3.
Right. So they so they wanted to get all the the C-rated announcements until so we can be like, all right, we're gauging our expectations, and then kind of do a 180 like you were saying last week.
Yeah,
it was cool. It was that was a nice surprise. But yeah, it was good.
Happen.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure if you guys kept track of your predictions, but I did get around 4.17 out of 8 correct. So that was pretty snazzy on Harry. So I'm tapping my shoulder in success.
I was at a solid 1.
Yeah, very nice.
So at least I got one thing on the money, which was that Crackdown's coming out day and date of Xbox X.
Yeah, that was good.
That is a dumb title for that thing, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
The 1X.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I'm just like, this is going to get people who are dyslexic very confused, which is frustrating, especially just trying to have that roll off your tongue. Xbox One X. I just feel like I'm mumbling when I say it, but
yeah.
I guess we're all going to get used to it because we got used to the Wii. So
Scorpio was a perfectly good name.
Yeah,
I agree.
That would have been better, honestly, especially since, like, at this point, we know about this stuff for so long that it practically becomes the thing's name anyway. Because I know even when this thing comes out, or even though they've given an actual name, the Xbox One X, people are going to be still calling it the Scorpio, especially people like us who are like, that's a dumb name. Also, just buy a PC. But anyway,
No, I think it's funny that people have been touting how dumb Nintendo is for their naming. Like, if you're an Xbox fanboy, what are you going to say? Like, oh, no, this is great. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah.
But if they want to convince themselves of it, go for it.
And can I? Okay, like I don't want to bag on Xbox too much, but like I do have to say also, what the hell's with them bringing like spending time with a Ferrari on stage?
It was a Porsche for what?
Oh, okay, a Porsche.
It was a Porsche 911 GT something.
I mean, I get they were probably trying to make the analogy that their system is like the Porsche of like game systems, but still, I'm like, you're gonna be showing us games here instead of like a car.
Yeah, but I think they've been doing that for years, haven't they?
No, I think the point was that it was a Forza game that was on stage, and they were like, we're working in conjunction with Porsche because of how they care about gaming, which they don't. Fun fact. I swear to God, they don't.
They care about money.
Yeah, and they were like, hey, so since we're working with Porsche, this is going to be the first time this has ever been done. We're revealing the new Porsche that no one's seen yet here at our conference. And then they realized, oh yeah, most of the people at our conference probably don't care all that much about the Porsche. I don't think the overlap was probably that big. I'm sure the people that were clapping and excited were just like, it's a nice car. I don't know anything else about that, but all right. So yeah, that's why that happened, and it wasn't really necessary, but whatever. Jumping off to the next thing, my second game that I was really happy to see, and actually was very surprising to me, although it is not my surprise of the show because I forgot my surprise of the show. But Monster Hunter World was very surprising to me because I've been asking for Monster Hunter on something that isn't a Nintendo console for a very long time, and it was very gorgeous. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It looks like it's going to be Monster Hunter, and it surprised me just because it was like, I haven't seen Monster Hunter not on a Nintendo console in years. So,
right.
You know, that was...
Yeah, it was surprised. I don't think, like, at least my opinion, I don't think it looked that good from Sony. If this is supposed to be a multiplayer thing, we just saw one character playing the entire time. So maybe I'm just not too familiar with Monster Hunter, but every time someone talks about it, it's like a group effort, and we just saw that one dude just chilling with a giant sword, fighting some monsters, which is cool. But I don't know if that was the best way to showcase a team-oriented game.
Yeah, I'll give you that. However, I am sad that everything I've been excited for at this show is also coming on PC. So it doesn't really matter what conference they showed it off at. I'm probably just gonna get it on PC. But Adam, what did you think of Monster Hunter World?
I don't know. I mean, like, I've tried to play Monster Hunter games in the past, and they're just like a little too obtuse for my liking. And so they've just never really kind of kept me interested. You know, maybe this one is different if it's something special, but I'm kind of just like, when it comes to Monster Hunter.
I can understand that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the trophies are going to be, though, for the PlayStation version.
I'm sure 90% of them will be kill this monster.
Touche. Because you are hunting monsters.
Yeah.
In a world. What?
It'll be kill
I just
this
broke
monster,
the safe.
cook this food, get a perfect cook, and what's the other one? That they have like ranks for their mission. So complete a X rank mission, complete a blah rank mission, complete a blah 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 rank mission, etc. etc.
Oh, I love that level.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so that's probably how that's gonna go. But I'm excited. I'm interested and excited regardless. Mainly because I can play it on PC. But you know.
Yeah, well, look at you and your fancy computer for Destiny 2.
Hey, it is fancy. Thank you.
Yes, pinky out and all that.
Adam, what's your next story?
This is kind of tough because we're trying to get it down to 2. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I could have put there, but are like don't have like a specific release date and are coming in 2018. I'm looking at you specifically, Spider-Man. So I'm gonna go with what's known and what's a little more imminent. I am really excited about Assassin's Creed Origins.
Okay.
I've been a big Assassin's Creed fan, and I definitely agree with the critics that it has suffered somewhat from this kind of annualization. So I'm really glad that they decided to take a year off and kind of figure it all out. And I think Egypt's a really interesting location, and I'm really, really hopeful that they've taken this year to find a fresh kind of new way to do Assassin's Creed, and that for like the anniversary they're going to release something really, really special. And yeah. Now, I noticed that Harry was like throwing some shade at it in the chat room.
Yeah, I mean, so the first time we saw it, it was at Microsoft, right?
Right.
And for some reason, like, I looked at it, I looked at the trailer again, and it didn't look that good. At least for a visual point. When it showed the second time, I think on Ubisoft, it looked much better, so I'm not sure if it's just my connection on that link or something was going on when I was watching the first couple times. But the Hawk Fig looked just like Primal in Far Cry Primal. I forgot what my other argument was.
It was
just
slow motion arrows.
Yeah, the slow motion of arrows was very Breath of the Wild. I don't know. My first instinct was this looks super similar to other things we've done. The only cool new thing was the RPG mechanics and the fact that it's in Egypt. I'm very new to the series. I played Syndicate as my first game. Really loved it, so I'm going back and playing the Ezio trilogy and then going my way forward, trying to catch all of them. It looks really cool. Maybe I just don't understand the subtleties of everything that's Assassin's Creed, but it just looked cool, not, oh my god, I'm going to run out the door and buy the $800 collector's edition.
Well, I'm not going to get the $800 collector's edition either, but I think you have to be a little careful for deriding it, going because I could clearly see elements of other games that have incorporated into this. Because you could turn that mirror right back around, and you could argue that Far Cry Primal, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Zelda, Breath of the Wild would not exist as they are without Assassin's Creed in the first place. Because I mean that's what really a lot of game making is that when you're creating your new product or your new game, you take a look at what's worked in other games and take the elements you want and incorporate it into your game to make something wholly new. So if it looks like it might have taken a thing or two from some other games, if it's going to make it a better game and teach it a couple new tricks, I'm all for it.
Also, side comment, I really like how you said throwing some shade. That was very hip of you.
But
this is not.
But anyways, good.
That's not worth $800.
No, it's not. That's insane.
There's one $800 bundle that has like figures, collector discs, and some other weird stuff, and they're only making like 900 of them. But we're getting a little sidetracked on that. But I mean, this is one of the games that I'm waiting to see. I'm not gonna pre-order yesterday and say I'm super hyped for it. And then like even the boss battle that IGN featured as a exclusive, that didn't look that exciting. You're just circulating and then you're hitting and then hoping for the best. Like it was very Dark Soulsy. So it was another thing that I drew from. And hopefully all those combinations work into a super stellar game, but I'm not going to get overly hyped for 60 minutes of show that we saw so far.
I also want to bring up a point, like, once again, things that I don't have time to fit in elsewhere, but oh my god, have you guys, like, watched over the course of E3, have you been paying attention to what October is shaped into?
A monster?
I'm trying not to think about it.
Because I'm trying to do the rundown off the top of my head. In October, we have Forza, which I don't care about, but a lot of people do. We have Assassin's Creed. We have South Park. We have Mario Odyssey. What else do we have? We have Evil Within 2. The new
Jinx.
Wolfenstein.
Stein is also the same day as Super Mario Odyssey.
So it's like it is a ridiculously packed month in October.
Yeah.
I admit
So-
that's the one thing I haven't really paid attention to this E3. It makes my heart sing at the end of all those trailers when I saw 2018, and at the same time, my heart was also like, there's like 10 things in this E3 that are actually going to make those dates.
Mhm.
Right.
Not going to say it's a bad thing. I've said it before. I'll always say in the future, if someone needs to delay it, it's good that they're going to delay it because they usually know what they're doing. But that
still
stuff's
sucks.
not hidden. Yeah, it's not hidden in 2018. I guarantee it for a good chunk of that stuff.
Okay, so dubious Adam being dubious, do we really think that God of War is actually early 2018?
I
don't
think so. It might. I think so only because that could just take the Horizon Zero Dawn spot from this year. So maybe that could be like their new time slot for a big AAA game.
I mean, I would hope so, but it kind of feels like we just saw it last year, and maybe they were really good and held off on talking about it for a long time, but it feels like that's a pretty big game, and early 2018's earlier than I thought it was going to be.
Definitely. I was really surprised when I saw that, and like, I mean, if it comes out early 2018, that's awesome. But yeah, it looks like it's further along than a lot of this stuff that we saw. But at the same time, I don't know. I'd be very on the fence about that, just because, like, really, guys, I mean, I know that's still 6 months away, but that's only 6 months away. But yeah.
Well, I mean, Fallout 4 was announced 6 months later. It was released, so you never know.
It's true.
We need to take a
So-
minute to talk about those two conferences, by the way. We can wait for that. Harry, what's your second game?
My second one is Battlefront 2. So we heard about it flushed out at Star Wars Celebration back in April, and then they gave us a lot more detail this weekend at EA's conference on Saturday. So they gave us a nice multiplayer, pretty much half scripted, half not scripted demo at Naboo, where they showcased Darth Maul, Boba Fett, Rey, and Kylo Ren in all their superhero glory or supervillain glory. They also showed us robots. They showed us some clones. They also mentioned that once again that there's going to be no season pass.
Yeah.
So all the DLC that they have are going to be free, which is nice. So it doesn't segment the fan base. But to compensate for that, they're going to have a lot of microtransactions. And at one of the streams, they mentioned that it's going to be in the form of some sort of boxes. So kind of like Overwatch's crates or some other thing like MOBAs or something that has those surprise boxes. Could be really cool. And they also mentioned seasons. So every season they're going to do something. So the first season is going to be Finn and Captain Phasma as two new characters plus some additional things that they kind of teased at but didn't really tell us. So overall, I'm super hyped for this game. I was a casual fan of Star Wars before Force Awakens came out, and then like within that year, I kind of went OD with my fandom. So I'm really excited. This looks beautiful. I still play original Battlefront, not the original, but the 2015 version casually maybe once or twice a week for an hour or two, just to kind of get excited for Star Wars. And the fact that this is going balls to the walls for fan service with 3 generations of Star Wars sagas is pretty cool.
I personally,
And what do you guys think?
the game's gorgeous. I'll give it that. And I'm sure once the beta comes out, I'm probably gonna play it. I'm probably gonna enjoy the beta. I'm probably not gonna get it because I'm one of the people that has been tainted by the extended universe. So my favorite character is in the extended universe. That means he doesn't exist anymore. So I
It
find
might
it.
come in a few years.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. My favorite character was, oh god, have I forgotten his name? He's one of the Sith Lords. Darth
Is he
Bane.
the one with the two lightsabers that are purple and red?
No, I don't even know who you're talking
Ah,
about. No.
I don't know either.
No, Darth Bane, I think he was, who literally had so much force that he had to wear a mask made of force-eating bugs. And at one point, he like blew up all the Sith because he hated them so much. I resonate with that guy. He seems to hate things at a similar level that I do. So
That's amazing.
yeah, so no, not Darth Talon. So I mean, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I'm not even gonna lie, but I'm probably not gonna pick it up.
So I just googled Darth Bane. He is in Clone Wars. Fun little facts. Unless I'm looking at wrong pictures. But anyway, we can talk about that afterwards.
He's also the dude who broke Batman's back, right?
That is funny because Bane is also my favorite character and my favorite Batman villain. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you have a thing for the word Bane.
In some capacity, yes, albeit Bane is actually a very deep character who does not get the proper respect he deserves. But anyway.
He's a character. I think he's grown a lot since he was kind of originally introduced. I think there was a big problem in the 90s with his style over substance, and I think in multiple scenarios they're like, wouldn't it be crazy if we killed like Superman? Wouldn't it be crazy if we put Batman out of commission? And it's like, well, okay, well, how do we do that? Let's just introduce some crazy powerful guy that's just gonna do it.
Yeah.
I think Bane's aged a lot better than Doomsday because Bane actually, particularly, I've read God, what was the name of that comic? That team he was on was the Secret Six was amazing. And they did some really good stuff with him.
It was so good, yes. But yeah, anyway.
Okay, the only thing I'm dubious about a little bit on Star Wars Battlefront 2 is I was really stoked when they like brought up that tweet from John Boyega about like single player mode. But then it felt like they didn't have too much to say about it. And that kind of makes me concerned that they're hyping up like, oh man, we listened to you. This is going to have single player. But then they don't really show or say much. And it makes me worry that it's going to be a really fairly short, like 8-hour tacked on kind of thing that they just kind of slapped into the game just to like check that box.
That's fair. In their defense, they did spend an exorbitant amount of time talking about it at Star Wars Celebration, mentioning that there's going to be an accompanying book. Mitch Dreyer, formerly of IGN, is going to be one of the co-writers, so that's pretty cool. So I think the E3 demographic cared more about the multiplayer, so that's where the emphasis came from, and they didn't talk about it too much at Star Wars Celebration. So I think the Star Wars Celebration was very Player 1 heavy, and E3 was very multiplayer heavy. And then hopefully at some point they're going to talk about both of them in tandem, so we can get excited for both of them and not just one or the other. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Lightsabers. Yeah.
The thing with the red.
The Schwartz.
The Schwartz. May the Schwartz be with
everyone.
everyone.
Than yours. Yeah, that's a great movie. Okay. Yeah. So we kind of already did this segment. We already pretty much gave our games of the show. Harry.
I did not.
Yeah, go ahead, Harry. I was about to say you didn't give yours.
So even though I enjoyed Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, even though I enjoyed Star Wars Battlefront 2, I absolutely loved Super Mario Odyssey. Even though I didn't see too much, I didn't get a chance to talk about it or see a lot of people talk about it. That trailer looked so cool and gave so much information about the game without a single word being said. Got me hyped. I don't want to spoil anything since you didn't really see the trailer yet, but they're using that hat mechanic to the nth degree.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what Flood was in Super Mario Sunshine. Hats, like multiple hats, is going to be the key mechanic. And it sounds super dumb. And as I'm saying, I'm being very self-aware that like using the hat as a weapon or using the hat as a gameplay mechanic can be very strange. But I think if anyone's going to do it nicely, it's going to be Nintendo. So Harry's hyped.
They should have called it Super Mario Hats.
Maybe, but that might be too spot on. I think the Odyssey thing that Reggie said at the beginning of the E3 presentation, he kind of did like this 1 minute like coming to Jesus moment where he's like, I can't even describe it. He's like, a journey is a path, and the path is a journey, and some other weird like sentences that meant the same thing in two different ways. So if you guys check that out, it's worth it because it's a trip. But aside from that awkward like beginning, it was really good. And them leading up to the Odyssey, where you're exploring a world and there's different varieties in the world, and there's so many different gameplay mechanics I don't want to spoil because I got giddy talking about it to myself before. But yeah, it got me really hyped, and the fact that the release date is October 27th is not what I thought the last week when we did our predictions. But they are doing the Amiibo line with a Bowser top hat and a Mario top hat, which is exactly what I said. So that was pretty cool. So, and I'm definitely buying those because they look beautiful, and they keep making these Amiibo look better and better. And it's making me conflicted with emotions because I'm going to buy them. And yeah, I'm super hyped for that.
I kind of want the squishy Metroid Amiibo.
Oh my god, it looks so good. That and the Samus with her kneeling. I think they're doing that as a 2-for-1 packaging. Just as
nice.
So I mean, 95% of people who are going to buy one are also going to buy the other. So just makes sense to pair them, I guess.
Okay, one more thing I have to throw out as for game of the show. I also just want to say that I thought that the demo they showed for Shadow of War looked really, 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 really good.
God, Bruce. I can't do the sound, but boop. There, that was so perfect. Oh yes, that. I feel the excitement I had for the first game growing, and I kind of want to go back and buy the first game when it's on sale.
It is on sale today.
How much is it on sale for?
You're a PC noob, so.
PC noob? You mean I'm gonna pay like $3 for it in a few months?
PC smug? No.
I'm
not even smug. Like, I acknowledge that consoles are good.
That's not the word I'm thinking of.
But Myles has a PlayStation 4 though.
I do. I'm not gonna buy it on PlayStation 4, but I do. Anyway.
It is worth noting to what Harry said that there is like a big sale going on PS4 right now. I just scooped up Titanfall 2 and Evil Within with all the DLC, and I paid I think $40 for both.
Nice.
That's a really good deal. Yeah. Yeah, I'll wait for the Steam summer sale. And get everything I want for $2. But
you've never played Shadow of Mordor?
I did not, because I was really excited for it. I think when it came out, I didn't have money, and then by the time it was discounted and stuff, I just didn't care enough, or like, I was like, I don't know if I want to pay $15 for it, which is, but yeah, that's my own hang-ups and my stupidity. I should have bought it when I had time and a little bit of money instead of all the money and no freaking time.
That game's coming out in October too. Damn it.
Everything. I want to play it for Bruce. I'll admit that. But yes, so games of the show. For me, it was Anthem, as I said. Adam, you kind of picked two. They were.
No, I'm sticking with A Way Out. A Way Out.
Okay.
Interests me the most.
A Way Out, and Harry picked. My memory.
Super Mario Odyssey.
There you go. Super Mario Odyssey. My memory's awful. So yes, those were our games of the show. Again, that does not at all mean that the other stuff wasn't good. There was so many amazing things. So amazing that I don't know how to use grammar anymore. But definitely go watch all the videos and trailers and stuff for yourself. Pick your own game of the show. It's awesome. Let's try and we got 15 minutes. So, most pleasant surprise. Personally, mine was Wolfenstein 2, because I've never given a single crap about a Wolfenstein game, and that trailer came on, and I was like, I really want to play this, actually, because that was great personality. It looked fun. I mean, I know it looked a lot like Wolfenstein. Is it New Blood, New Order?
New Blood.
New Blood. Okay, whichever one came out most recently. It looked a lot like that, but at the same time, I was like, oh, these characters have a lot of personality, and I kind of want to play it. I know I'm probably just going to end up watching someone else play it, but it looks really good, and I've never thought that about Wolfenstein. I was not one of the people that played it back in the day, and the one that came out recently was just kind of like, okay, it's good. Now I kind of want to pick it up though, on sale for $2 at some point.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be on sale for the summer too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's already been on sale. It's just gonna be on a deeper sale next time.
Nice.
So, Adam, what was your most pleasant surprise?
I'd actually probably go with Ubisoft's conference. Admittedly, like I was commenting to my roommate right before it started. I'm like, well, I don't really know what to expect here because I kind of feel like we already know so much of what's going on in Ubisoft's conference because obviously they've been showing off. They've already shown off South Park, and they already announced Far Cry, and we saw Assassin's Creed the day before, so it felt like a lot of the cards were on the table. And then I was like watching the pre-show at IGN, and they were talking about like what kind of crazy predictions they would like to see happen. And one person's like, "Oh, I'd like to see that that space game that was teased in like Watch Dogs 2," and somebody else is like, I want to see that Mario Rabbids thing. And then somebody else goes, I really want to see Beyond Good and Evil 2. And I was like, well, that's not all going to possibly happen in one show along with everything else they've got, right? And it just kind of kept on going and going and going. And so it was just kind of nice to see them kind of pull out like a really, really strong showcase with a lot of compelling stuff.
Speaking of IGN, somebody needs to eat a mug.
Yes.
It doesn't mean anything for me to call them out, but somebody needs to eat a mug. All right, Harry, what was your most pleasant surprise?
Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay.
So everyone and their mom have been talking about this game for years and years and years. And I never had a PS2. It was just something I was very Nintendo-oriented in my younger days. So when I saw that happening at the Sony event, I said, could this be that game that everyone's talking about? And then once I saw those giant creatures, I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. So I think that was such a left field thing where I'm just like, you know what? I'll be hyped if this comes out within the next 12 years and it doesn't do a, oh my god, what's the name of the bird dog game?
The Last Guardian.
Thank you. I hope it doesn't pull a Last Guardian where they kind of announce it, then retract it, then announce it, then retract it, then 6 years later it comes out, then 8 years later it's almost going to come out. So I think if it comes out within the next year or two, that could be a really cool remaster thing that can reinvigorate the love of this game to people who didn't have a PS2 or weren't even born at that time, which is making me feel old. So
that is true.
I'm excited to try it.
That was very surprising to me. I definitely did not expect to see that. Do we want to go ahead and move on to our biggest disappointments?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. My biggest disappointment was actually the Bethesda conference as a whole, besides the Wolfenstein trailer. I respect... It's weird. They did a lot of stuff right, but at the same time, I just didn't like how they did it, I guess. I don't know. For one, I'm really tired of Skyrim being pushed. I really want people to stop trying to remake that game. I don't know if I'm alone in this. It wasn't that good. So I'm tired of Skyrim. Oblivion.
I don't think it's going to stop.
I know.
Because they have... Oh, sorry.
Morrowind was better. No, sorry, go ahead. What?
No, because I'm saying that the Skyrim special just came out, last year, 2 years ago? The Skyrim VR for PS4 is coming out soon, or eventually. Yeah. The Skyrim Switch is coming out eventually. So I don't think the Skyrim train is going to be slowing down for better or worse. If anything, it's going to ramp up because more people are going to have it. It's going to get deeper discounts. It's going to have more accessibility, and people are just going to go bonkers for it.
Don't understand why it wasn't that good. It's like Oblivion was better, Morrowind was better. I'm not gonna say Daggerfall was better because Daggerfall wasn't that good, but well, Daggerfall was good for its time. But yeah, I'm tired of that, and I don't know. The Bethesda conference just didn't feel right for some reason. It could be because it was at 12 freaking a.m. my time, so that might have been part of why it didn't feel right. Like, I felt like I stayed up so late for me at this point now, because I'm a big boy and got a big boy job. I stayed up so late, and then it was just kind of like, I was fine that it was 40 minutes, because they focused it, but at the same time, it was like 40 minutes, and they didn't really say anything new, I guess, is what I felt. Like, it was a lot of, oh, we're making this VR. It's like, okay. It's like, and we're coming out with Wolfenstein 2. It's like, that's neat. And it's like, we ain't got nothing else. That was it. Skyrim, VR stuff we've already done, and Wolfenstein. It's like, okay. I guess I can't expect too much considering that this was one developer and it wasn't a, showcase of a AAA company, but at the same time, I wasn't very happy with it.
I think Chris might be aggrieved that you left off Evil Within 2.
Yeah, that was the thing. Very weird trailer.
Was that at Bethesda?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was?
Uh-huh.
Bethesda.
Are you confusing it with Beyond Good and Evil 2?
No, Bethesda was that? They did the Evil Within?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, okay, I'll admit that. That was a really good trailer. I don't want to play it, but that's only because I'm not a big fan of that type of game. But yeah, that was a really good trailer, so never mind. Okay. They did two things right, and everything else was trash, in my opinion.
Mm.
Like,
Okay, well,
structure was good, content was not, in my opinion.
fair.
You don't want to
Okay.
take a trip to Bethesda Land anytime soon?
No, I don't, because keep in mind, Bethesda Land is based on a time in America where my type of people weren't having a very good time, so... All right, go? Somebody go after that.
So
Okay.
I guess no, you can go because
Well-
mine's gonna be contested. Wait, did you already go, Adam? No, you didn't.
I have not gone.
Oh no, JK.
Okay, so my pick is actually I'm going to go with a Sony conference.
Mhm.
Now, to be clear, I'm not saying I'm still a huge Sony fan. I don't think that their conference was worse than any of the other conferences. So I'm not being like super duper negative here, but it was disappointing after the heights of last year's conference, where it was just like it felt like it was an insane amount of time of just like, here's a new game and here's a new game and is that Kojima? Yeah, that's Kojima, and here's a new game and here's a new game. And I think that probably realistically this had to happen because to have the conference that they did last year, they kind of threw out every card they had in the deck. And so I guess kind of looking back, this inevitably was going to be a year where now we have to check up on all that stuff. But, it's not nearly as glamorous or exciting as, like, let's show you all this new, like this big, exciting new stuff. And I think that disappointment was further capped by the fact that they did not place any of their major upcoming titles as a winter 2017 release.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of like what they had last year, where it was minimal holiday games and kind of truncated schedule for everything else.
And I was kind of disappointed that it went only for an hour because I kind of felt like Microsoft's conference was longer than that.
Oh, it was definitely longer. It was probably an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm not going to lie, I am definitely deeply saddened by the lack of Bloodborne 2.
Yeah, you and a lot of Bloodborne fans.
I don't know. I guess we shouldn't be expecting anything serious from Death Stranding for a while, but I wanted another trailer so I could have another song that download and put on my phone. That would be really good. But that's not the point of those trailers.
Now, to be fair to them on that was announced ahead of time that wasn't going to be there.
Yeah. But still.
Still a bummer.
Yeah. Harry, what was yours?
Okay. So mine. All right, everyone take their seats because I feel like I'm going to get a lot of backlash. I did not like the Spider-Man thing at all. I thought the world was cool. I thought the fighting was cool. But 1/3 of it was cutscenes. 1/3 of it was quick time events. And the 1/3 I liked was the fighting was really cool, but it looked just like Batman.
Yep.
The Batman thing. And that was literally the first 2 seconds. I'm like, this looks just like Batman. This looks just like Batman. And then the more they did it with the slow motion and the punching and then the rotation of like 80 degrees from your point of view, it was just very, I don't know, it just looked, okay, this is nothing new. And the fact that in a 2017 game, a 2018 game, the fact that so much gameplay is just quick time events, I'm curious to see how that's going to go. Like, if I don't do a quick time event, am I going to have to restart that whole sequence? If I miss a quick time event, does that mean it's going to alter the experience in a different way? That would be cool. But the fact that we know nothing about the story, know nothing about the, like, whether it's open world, whether it's hub world, like, they didn't say any of that. So I don't know why everyone, like, lost their mind over this game because it showed some gameplay. So I was just like, that's it. And then when everyone else did their reactions, like, oh my god, Spider-Man was amazing. And I was like, I like Spider-Man the character, but this did not do it all for me.
Now, couple questions. Did you ever play Spider-Man 2 for PS2?
No.
Okay. Because I think that's a lot of where a lot of nostalgia comes in, is that game. And to be fair, that game had a Spider-Sense dodge system not entirely unlike what goes on in Arkham.
Yeah.
I would say it's definitely faster than the Batman combat, and the tone is a lot lighter, and I think that's worth noting. Because, I mean, I kind of think that, yeah, in some ways it's going to resemble, like, the Arkham fighting system, in so much as I think that they kind of perfected that kind of fighting system, and it works very well for superhero games. I suspect it's going to be an open world. I'd be really shocked if it's not, because you can't create a Spider-Man game and not not be allowed to swing around New York, especially in 2018. I would be sincerely disappointed if they make it like a linear, like Uncharted style game.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And also,
Yeah, I mean,
mini-map kind of lent for that.
yeah, and I think, like, I really liked the gameplay of Batman Arkham. I thought the fighting was awesome, and this looked like awesome fighting, but everything else was just not, like, the visual fidelity of it was amazing, but I don't know, those quick time events got me very nervous, and I was having a lot of Uncharted 1 flashbacks of how annoying those were.
Well, all the Uncharted games have quick time. Like, once again, in action games today, quick time events are kind of part of the landscape. Now, you have to balance it. You don't want it to become all about the quick time events, but
Well, I think if we go from Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2, there is a drastic decrease. And I'm just concerned that this looks like the quantity of Uncharted 1, where it was every cutscene, there was like 4 of them. Nah, that's over-exaggerating, but there was a significant amount where if you are not completely staring at the screen, you're going to miss out and you're going to die and then start that over for another minute and a half. Like, that's the kind of gameplay that would just get me annoyed. That if I missed pressing L and R fast enough, like at the end of that trailer, would I have to restart that entire 4-minute sequence? Because that would be extremely frustrating. But maybe I'm just being negative Nelly, or maybe I'm being like Harpy and Harry or something. But
You say you're being
just
Mr. Negative?
I was thinking of saying that, but I'm like, no, that'll be too obnoxious and too on the nose. But that's what I got Myles here to do.
I have faith. I mean, I don't want to like blindly assume, blindly just jump on the hype train. But on the other hand, I mean, it's Insomniac working on it, and they just kind of generally have a pedigree of excellence, and so it kind of makes me inclined to believe that it's gonna work out.
I mean, in all honesty, that I'm sure that was just a very, very cinematic part of the game that is, what they wanted to show for E3, and I also hope that it's not as QuickTime event heavy as it seemed, because I'm a fan of Spider-Man. I like that they seemed like they were trying to show off that he's actually pretty freaking strong in this. I thought the web play was really cool, but at the same time, I did have the same concerns of it was just kind of Batman, and I did not. Batman's combat is really good, but it got really boring also. And personally, I thought that slowdown every time someone's about to hit you is really annoying to me. Just like, I don't know if it wasn't as bad or if it won't be as bad as it seemed in that little vertical slice, but holy God, every time something was about to hit you, just that slowdown, I'm like, stop, just let me fight, please. But beyond that, I mean, I have hope as well.
Gotta have hope, hope, hope. Gotta have hope.
Get off this podcast.
It's like, well, you're the ones that keep saying hope like 15 times, so I gotta make a little song out of it.
I said hope like one.
That's 2 more times.
All right. Anyway, so okay, yeah, I don't completely disagree with your disappointment of the show, honestly.
Nice, because if I wrote that on a Facebook group or Twitter, I'm sure I would have gotten 4 nasty, "You're just dumb, I hate you," or comments. And I would have just smiled and be like, "Have a great day. Thank you." So,
Yeah.
anyway,
Go ahead. That's how you gotta handle it.
the internet. Yes, the internet, where I just smile all the time.
Well, gentlemen, let's wrap it up for the night.
Sure.
This has been episode 168. Yes, it has. Episode 168. It's E3, baby. And keep in mind, the conferences are over, but E3 is not. It will be going until the end of the week. So there's always more stuff to see, watch, and hear about. Might not be any new games. There might be some hidden gems. Definitely keep up with the coverage, whether it's with our website or wherever you want to, streaming, whatever. Definitely keep up with that. And we always record on Tuesday night. Usually record on Tuesday nights live on Twitch at mong.plays. So that's where you should be when we're recording. You can chat with us in the chat and all that good stuff. You can email us directly at contact.mong@gmail.com. Someone checks that. Harry checks that.
Yes.
Harry checks that. There you go. And you can send in your thoughts from nowheres if you have them. Or, as I mentioned earlier, we have a Discord where you can go and send in your thought or leave your thought from nowhere in the text chat that I made specifically for that. There you go. And, of course, we have a Twitter account. It's at mong.com. The dot is spelled out, and that's where you can follow us and find out anything that we're doing, anything new on the website, new on the YouTube page, etc., etc. And, of course, mentioning YouTube, our YouTube is Mong Network. So that's where you can find our podcasts, any views we might do, any playthroughs or anything like that. You can find us on Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram. Look up Mong, Middle North Gaming Plays, Middle North Gaming Plays. Mong Plays, Middle North Gaming, probably Middle North Gaming. You'll figure it out. And, of course, our website, which is, as I haven't said 1,000 times already, middleofnorthgaming.com. That's where everything goes up. You should check it out. Whether you want to read, watch, or listen, there's something there for you. And if you want to be awesome and help us keep the lights on, we do have a Patreon, because having a website ain't free, unfortunately. And we very much appreciate you if you want to donate. And if not, that's also fine. We just appreciate you watching, listening, and transcribing is the one I always use. I'm going to come up with something eventually. Kentucky Fried Grilling. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to come up with one new one for every week. And I'm going to hate myself for saying this. Anyway, if you want to follow these specific beautiful faces you see on the podcast, or the milky chocolate, vanilla chocolate mocha voices you hear, my Twitter handle is Furious Milk. Adam is
Fanboy_Adam.
And Harry is
At Ill Grill Chill.
You don't have to say the ad every time.
I know, it's fun.
Okay. All right. Anyway, this has been another episode of the Mom Podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. And we're out. Anybody
Bye.
No outros this week?
E3 for you and me.
All right, I'm going to bed.